Datta, Sri Guru Datta. Jai Guru 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 Datta, Sri Guru Datta.
Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Shri Saraswatyai Namaha, Shri Padavallabha Narasimha Saraswati, Shri Guru Dattatreya Namaha, Shri Ganapati Satchidananda Sadguru Bhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Guru Datta and welcome to Datta Arpanam with your hosts Rishi Nirvan Balrup
and Ravita Singh. Jai Guru Datta, Swagatam, and thank you for tuning in to Datta Arpanam, a showcase of the life, music and teachings of His Holiness Parama Pujya Dr. Shri 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 Ganapati Satchidananda Swamiji of Avadhuta Dattapitam in Mysuru. Today's program begins with the offering of pranams, gratitude, and this invocation prayer at the sacred feet of beloved Sadguru Deva Pujya Shri Swamiji, as this program, possible only through His divine grace, is offered to him. Please join Pujya Shri 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 Datta Vijayananda Tirtha Swamiji now in worship.
गणेशाय नमः, श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः, श्रीपादवल्लभ नरसिंह सरस्वती, श्री गुरुदत्तात्रेयाय नमः, श्री गणपति सच्चिदानंद सद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः, गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म, तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। श्रीभूयुत श्रीहरिचिह्निताभ्याम् अगस्त्यरेखादिभिरञ्चिताभ्याम् निगूढबीजाक्षरमुद्रिताभ्याम् नमो नमः सद्गुरुपादुकाभ्याम्। गणपति गुरुमेकं सच्चिदानन्दरूपं, विबुधनिवहसेव्यं योगमार्गाधिरूढं, शरणमुपगतानामार्तिसङ्घाद्रिवज्रं मम हृदयनिवासं भक्तिनम्रो नमामि, भक्तिनम्रो नमामि।
Once again, everyone, Swagatam, and thank you for tuning in to this morning's edition of Datta Arpanam. Today's program is being brought to you through the kind courtesy of Ramlal Educational Institute of No. 12 Exchange Lots Coover, Valini's Drug Mart Limited of 58 to 60 Sutton Street, San Fernando, Debe's Supermart Limited of 182 SS Erin Road, Debe, and Koke's Supermart Limited of 14 Naparima Miaro Road, San Fernando.
This time of year is a very auspicious and busy time for Hindus across the globe. We go from Sri Krishna Janmashtami to shortly afterwards Vinayaka Chaturthi, which signals the start of Ganapati festival or Ganesh Utsav. Then it is straight into Pitra Paksha, a period considered particularly auspicious to pray for the well-being of those who have left the mortal coil, followed by Devi Navaratri, a 10-day, 9-night period considered to be particularly auspicious for the worship of Mother Goddess. Devi Navaratri is then followed by Deepavali or Diwali.
This week, Ganapati festival comes to an end, and this coming Wednesday, that is Wednesday, September 18th, Pitra Paksha begins. Inspired by this, you are in store for a particularly beautiful episode of Datta Arpanam. And, as always, and especially because we are still in that Ganesh Utsav period, today's contemplations begin with a Lord Ganapati bhajan. Please open your Bhajanmala app or visit the website www.bhajanmala.com. Enter bhajan ID number 31 and join in worshipping the remover of obstacles.
Through this bhajan, prayers are offered to Lord Vinayaka, the leader and fulfiller of all wishes. Feel the words as you sing them, as you praise Lord Ganapati as being one of mature intellect and the son of Lord Shiva, as the one who has a snake tied like a sacred thread around his waist. Roaming the earth on a mouse, he rules the world. When we rid our mind of the tendency to go outwards, and instead, with a spirit of sacrifice and renunciation, or sacrifice and lack of attachment to the result of actions, when we perform actions bearing these traits, then Lord Ganesha blesses us with the ultimate knowledge of the self, and that knowledge is the key to eternal bliss.
Once again, everyone, the ID number for today's first bhajan is 31.
Nayakam Vinayakam Sarvasiddhidayakam
Nayakam Vinayakam Sarvasiddhidayakam
Nayakam Vinayakam Sarvasiddhidayakam
Nayakam Vinayakam Sarvasiddhidayakam
Mudgaladisevitam bhaje matam Ganeshwaram
Mudgaladisevitam bhaje matam Ganeshwaram
Nayakam Vinayakam Sarvasiddhidayakam
Nayakam Vinayakam Sarvasiddhidayakam
Mudgaladisevitam bhaje matam Ganeshwaram
Mudgaladisevitam
bhaje matam Ganeshwaram Nayakam Vinayakam Sarvasiddhidayakam
Nayakam Vinayakam Sarvasiddhidayakam
Sundaram Siddhi Buddhi Sundaresh Nandanam
Sundaram Siddhi Buddhi Sundaresha Nandanam
Bhakta Bandha Mochanam Sarpasutra Bandhanam
Bhakta Bandha Mochanam Sarpasutra Bandhanam
Sundaram Siddhi Buddhi Sundaresh Nandanam
Sundaram Siddhi Buddhi Sundaresha Nandanam
Bhakta Bandha Mochanam Sarpasutra Bandhanam
Bhakta Bandha Mochanam Sarpasutra Bandhanam
Nayakam Vinayakam Sarvasiddhidayakam Mudgaladisevitam bhaje matam Ganeshwaram
Nayakam Vinayakam Sarvasiddhidayakam Mudgaladisevitam bhaje matam Ganeshwaram
Mushikavahanam Sakala Loka Vikshanam
Mushikavahanam Sakala Loka Vikshanam
మూషికావాహనం సకలలోక వీక్షణం
మూషికావాహనం సకలలోకవీక్షణం
అర్కరూపధారిణం ఆదిశక్త్యావరణం
అర్కరూపధారిణం ఆదిశక్త్యావరణం
అర్కరూపధారిణం ఆదిశక్త్యావరణం
అర్కరూపధారిణం ఆదిశక్త్యావరణం నాయకం వినాయకం సర్వసిద్ధిదాయకం ముద్గలారిసేవితం భజేమతం గణేశ్వరం నాయకం వినాయకం సర్వసిద్ధిదాయకం ముద్గలారిసేవితం భజేమతం గణేశ్వరం
రక్తవర్ణరూపిణం విరక్తలోక భావితం
రక్తవర్ణరూపిణం విరక్తలోకభావితం
రక్తవర్ణరూపిణం విరక్తలోక భావితం
రక్తవర్ణరూపిణం విరక్తలోకభావితం
ఆత్మవిద్యాధారిణం నంద సచ్చిదానందనం
ఆత్మవిద్యాధారిణం నంద సచ్చిదానందనం
ఆత్మవిద్యాధారిణం నంద సచ్చిదానందనం
ఆత్మవిద్యాధారిణం నంద సచ్చిదానందనం
నాయకం వినాయకం సర్వసిద్ధిదాయకం ఉత్కలాదిసేవితం భజేమతం గణేశ్వరం నాయకం వినాయకం సర్వసిద్ధిదాయకం ఉత్కలాదిసేవితం భజేమతం గణేశ్వరం భజేమతం గణేశ్వరం భజేమతం గణేశ్వరం భజేమతం గణేశ్వరం భజేమతం గణేశ్వరం.
Many times in the past, you have heard on Datta Arpanam that the bhajan compositions of Pujya Sri Ganapati Satchidananda Swamiji, fondly known as Pujya Appaji, many times you would have heard that his bhajans are Vedanta in the form of song. But no matter how many times those words are shared, they remain as true as always. The awe inspired by Pujya Appaji's bhajans is such that we are inevitably reminded that his bhajans are not just songs, but Vedanta put to song.
You were just listening to Pujya Sri Swamiji here on Datta Arpanam. Thank you for tuning in to this Sunday morning hour of devotion, which is coming to you on 103.1 FM through the grace of Pujya Sri Swamiji and thanks to the sponsorship by Ramlal Educational Institute, Debe Supermart Limited, Valini's Drug Mart Limited and Kokie Supermart Limited.
As you heard at the start of today's program, while we are still in the Ganesh Utsav period, given that Pitra Paksha starts in 3 days' time, today's contemplation is inspired by Pitra Paksha, a time when it is considered particularly auspicious to pray for the souls of those who are no longer in the physical form we knew them to occupy. As always, pranams and gratitude are offered at the divine feet of Pujya Appaji for guiding the choice of content for today's offering.
Years ago, Pujya Appaji said that if we have to travel into the darkness, he is coming with us and bringing his light. This is because there's a contract between Sadguru and the disciple. I, said Appaji, I have already signed this invisible contract. Don't worry, he said, you must develop love and affection.
Listeners, today you will hear a short excerpt from Pujya Sri Swamiji's biography. And I really hope that at the end of today's story, by Pujya Appaji's grace, we have time to come back to those words of his which Rishi just shared, so that you can see just how much truth is embedded in those words of beloved Sadguru Deva.
So, bearing those words in mind, if you have to travel into the darkness, I am coming with you and bringing my light. Let us begin looking at this amazing excerpt from the life history of Parama Puja Sri Ganapati Satchidananda Swamiji.
The story begins on October 13th, 1976. In Vijayawada, the wife of devotee Ganti Shankaram lay on her deathbed gasping for breath. She had been ailing for the previous month and was virtually bedridden. Her condition was now turning critical.
Shankaram hurriedly took her to the hospital in a rickshaw. There he met Dr. Krishna Kumari, a fellow devotee of Puja Sri Swamiji. The doctor, with affection for a fellow devotee, examined Shankaram's wife and then, looking at Shankaram with pity, told him that his wife probably only had a couple more minutes to live. "It is out of our control," she said.
As predicted by the doctor, Shankaram's wife passed away shortly afterwards at 2:10 p.m. Shankaram sobbed for some time and then began the return journey to his home, taking the dead body of his wife with him in the rickshaw.
On the way home, Shankaram met his friend, Dr. Satyanarayana, who examined the body and confirmed that Shankaram's wife had indeed died about half an hour beforehand.
Shankaram then met another doctor friend, Dr. Chudamani, who again confirmed that his wife had died.
Eventually, Shankaram arrived home with his wife's lifeless body. He placed the body in a thatched shed in front of the house and went to place a phone call to Puja Sri Swamiji.
Appaji himself picked up the receiver when Shankaram called. But before we hear what he said to Shankaram, let us hear what he has to say to us, or should I say, sing to us, as he once again blesses us with Vedanta put to song. Please open the Bhajan Mala app or visit the Bhajan Mala website www.bhajanmala.com, enter Bhajan ID number 625 and join in singing this divine and unique gem of a bhajan.
The bhajan praises Mata Maheshwari, the embodiment of heaven and salvation, the protector. What more do we need if we have her blessings?
But Pujya Appaji, in his infinite compassion, gives us even more by including Bijaksharas or seed mantras, powerful mantras in the charana of the bhajan. So everyone, do not miss the opportunity to join with Pujya Appaji in singing this uplifting bhajan. Once again, the bhajan ID number is 625.
Mata Maheshwari Mantra Nilayeshwari Mata Maheshwari Mantra Nilayeshwari Mantra Nilayeshwari Mantra Nilayeshwari Mantra Nilayeshwari Mata Maheshwari Mantra Nilayeshwari Mata Maheshwari Mantra Nilayeshwari Mantra Nilayeshwari Mantra Nilayeshwari Mantra Nilayeshwari Mantra Nilayeshwari Mata Maheshwari Mantra Nilayeshwari Mata Maheshwari Mantra Nilayeshwari Shrumbharaya Drumba Shrumbharaya Shrumbharaya Drumba Shrumbharaya Swargapa Vargapa Vargapa Dhari Swargapa Vargapa Vargapa Dhari Datta Maheshwari Mantra Nilayeshwari Mata Maheshwari Mantra Nilayeshwari Mantra Nilayeshwari Mantra Nilayeshwari Mantra Nilayeshwari Mantra Nilayeshwari Mantra मन्त्रानिलयेश्वरी 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 माता महेश्वरी मन्त्रानिलयेश्वरी
माता महेश्वरी मन्त्रानिलयेश्वरी
काचाटा वर्ग रूपे अम्ब काचाटा वर्ग रूपे नालाय वर्ग रूपे अम्ब नालावा वर्ग रूपे याराला वर्ग रूपे अम्ब याराला वर्ग रूपे शाशाखा वर्ग रूपे शाशाखा वर्ग रूपे माता महेश्वरी मन्त्रानिलयेश्वरी
माता महेश्वरी मन्त्रानिलयेश्वरी
मन्त्रानिलयेश्वरी मन्त्रानिलयेश्वरी मन्त्रानिलयेश्वरी मन्त्रानिलयेश्वरी माता महेश्वरी मन्त्रानिलयेश्वरी माता महेश्वरी
मन्त्रानिलयेश्वरी
श्रीमातृ वर्गरूपी अम्ब श्रीमातृ वर्गरूपी अम्ब भूमातृ वर्गरूपी अम्ब भूमातृ वर्गरूपी माता महेश्वरी मन्त्रानिलयेश्वरी माता महेश्वरी मन्त्रानिलयेश्वरी मन्त्रानिलयेश्वरी मन्त्रानिलयेश्वरी
मन्त्रानिलयेश्वरी मन्त्रानिलयेश्वरी
मात्रे वर्ग रूपे अम्ब काचाटा वर्ग रूपे अम्ब नाला वर्ग रूपे अम्ब था वर्ग रूपे अम्ब था वर्ग रूपे अम्ब याराला वर्ग रूपे अम्ब
याराला वर्ग रूपे
अम्ब शाशा वर्ग रूपे अम्ब शाशा वर्ग रूपे अम्ब नंदिनी आनंदिनी सच्चिदानंदिनी
नंदिनी आनंदिनी सच्चिदानंदिनी
नंदिनी आनंदिनी सच्चिदानंदिनी
नंदिनी आनंदिनी सच्चिदानंदिनी
माता महेश्वरी मन्त्रानिलयेश्वरी माता महेश्वरी
मन्त्रानिलयेश्वरी
मन्त्रानिलयेश्वरी मन्त्रानिलयेश्वरी
मन्त्रानिलयेश्वरी
मन्त्रानिलयेश्वरी मन्त्रानिलयेश्वरी मन्त्रानिलयेश्वरी
मन्त्रानिलयेश्वरी
मन्त्रानिलयेश्वरी मन्त्रानिलयेश्वरी मन्त्रानिलयेश्वरी
मन्त्रानिलयेश्वरी मन्त्रानिलयेश्वरी
माता महेश्वरी
मन्त्रानिलयेश्वरी
माता महेश्वरी
मन्त्रानिलयेश्वरी
मन्त्रानिलयेश्वरी मन्त्रानिलयेश्वरी मन्त्रानिलयेश्वरी మంత్రానిలయేశ్వరి
Hari.
What divine sounds with which to get this week started. You are tuned in to Datta Arpanam, which is coming to you on 103.1 FM through the grace of Parama Pujya Sri Ganapati Satchidananda Swamiji, and thanks to the sponsorship by Ramlal Educational Institute, Debe Supermart Limited, Valini's Drug Mart Limited, and Kokie Supermart Limited.
The bhajan you just heard was composed and rendered by Ganapati Swamiji or Puja Appaji and was first sung by him in the USA in August of 1976. It was in October of that same year when today's story, taken from Puja Appaji's life story, took place.
So far, you have heard that in October of 1976, a devotee by the name of Shankaram lost his wife to illness. When the doctor at the hospital confirmed that his wife had died, Shankaram brought her lifeless body to their home and placed it in a thatched shed in front of their home. When he then went to telephone Sri Swamiji, Puja Appaji himself answered the telephone.
And listeners, whenever we are planning anything, whenever we are about to start a new venture, or whenever we are faced with some big event in our lives, pleasant or unpleasant, like Shankaram did, we should immediately communicate this to Puja Appaji. Even if you are planning on doing a trip you do all the time, tell him before you even book any tickets.
And do not feel that Shankaram had a phone number to reach Puja Appaji, but you do not. The telephone in this story, while it was a real telephone, is also symbolic of the spiritual telephone line. We have a free, always open line to Puja Appaji. There are no roaming charges and no busy signal. Listeners, that spiritual telephone line is your devotion. Appaji himself says that if you close your eyes and think of him, you will feel his presence in your heart. Speak to him heart to heart. He will hear and he will guide you accordingly every single time.
When Puja Appaji picked up the receiver when Shankaram called, Shankaram told him about what had happened. Swamiji, though, did not express any sympathy. Instead, he asked, "Had she died?" "Okay." "Mr. Shankaram," said Appaji, "don't place the dead body on the ground before 10 p.m. Keep her on the cot and try to arrange the cremation for after 10 a.m. In the meantime, if by chance she moves or wakes up, don't ask any questions."
With those words, Puja Appaji hung up the receiver. Poor Shankaram. While on the one hand there seemed to be some hope, on the other hand there seemed to be no hope. But in Shankaram's state, there was no scope for any hope.
Shankaram placed and kept his wife's corpse on the cot while he lay on the ground. He had hundreds of friends in Vijayawada. Everyone came to his home and then, after expressing condolences, went away. Shankaram sobbed whenever someone new came. But still, listeners, the actions of Shankaram's friends show us how we too must behave when someone has suffered a loss. Even if your firm conviction is that, as Sri Krishna teaches, the soul has not died but has simply changed forms, respect and show compassion for those who are grieving, recognizing that at that time what they need is support and not a sermon. Puja Appaji himself has taught this.
While all of this was going on at Shankaram's house, the being who had left the mortal body, in other words, Shankaram's wife's soul, was feeling like it was falling somewhere in jet darkness.
But it was not really falling. Some hideous beings had surrounded that soul and were holding it tightly and pulling it away. They were even darker than the jet darkness.
That soul, which had once occupied Shankaram's wife's body, was now shuddering with extreme fear and began shouting "Swamiji, Swamiji," at a sky-drilling pitch. But the truth is that she only thought she was shouting. No matter how loudly she shouted, she couldn't even hear her own shouting. Still though, she continued, "Swamiji, Swamiji."
It's not clear how long this went on for, but suddenly a bright light, an unimaginably bright light appeared. The light was coming closer to her. As it came nearer and nearer, the soul felt a previously unknown courage. Eventually, the light came very close, and, epitomizing the word Guru, meaning the remover of darkness, Puja Sri Swamiji was seen in the middle of that light.
What a beauty! What a luster! What profoundness! Sri Swamiji's face was really bewitching to the three worlds.
It was not just Shankaram's wife's soul who saw Sri Swamiji. The hideous-looking beings also saw Puja Appaji. They gave an ugly expression and, for reasons unknown, without moving forward, they stopped pulling at that soul.
Listeners, remember what you heard at the start of today's program. Puja Appaji has said that even if we have to go into the darkness, he is coming with us and bringing his light. Shankaram's wife's soul was getting first-hand proof of this.
But not just that. In Datta Stava, again and again we come across the term Smatragami. Lord Datta is called Smatragami because he appears the instant we call out to him.
Think about it. Didn't Mahavishnu appear the instant Gajendra tried to call out to him? And who is Lord Dattatreya? He is the combined forms of Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, and his main aspect, Mahavishnu.
And going one step further than this, who is Puja Appaji? He is the present-day Avadhuta of Lord Dattatreya. So, just as we see that the word Smatragami applies to Lord Datta, it also applies to Puja Appaji. When you need him, he is always just a heart's call away.
But how come he is so close always? Well, it is because he is everywhere, in everything, and all-knowing. He knows you need him before you even realize you need him. But what stops us from calling out, and therefore what lands us into further trouble, is our ego. We feel that we can sort out our problem, that we are the doers, that we can handle everything. And that ego, everyone, that ego is the gate which locks us away, unable to access the full extent of Sri Swamiji's grace.
Let us worship that Lord Smatragami now. Let us chant Sri Datta Stavam. You can find the words to this very powerful mantra by entering Stotra ID number 2268 on the Bhajanmala app or website.
Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Shri Saraswati Namaha, Shri Padavallabha Narasimha Saraswati, Shri Guru Dattatreya Namaha. Dattathreyam Mahatmanam Varadam Bhaktavatssalam Prapannarthiharam Vande Smartrugami Sanovatu Deenabandhum Kripasindhum Sarvakaranakaranam Sarvarakshakaram Vande Smartrugami Sanovatu Sharanagata Deenartha Paritrana Parayanam Narayanam Vibhum Vande Smartrugami Sanovatu Sarvanarthaharam Devam Sarvamangalamangalam Sarvakleshaharam Vande Smartrugami Sanovatu Brahmanyam Dharma Tattvajnam Bhakta Kirti Vivardhanam Bhaktabhishtabhradam Vande Smartrugami Sanovatu Shoshanam Papa Pankasya Deepanam Jnana Tejasa Tapa Prashamanam Vande Smartrugami Sanovatu Sarvaroga Prashamanam Sarva Pida Nivaranam Vipaduddharanam Vande Smartrugami Sanovatu Janma Samsara Bandhagnam Swarupanandadayakam निःश्रेयसपदं वन्दे स्मर्तृगामी सनोवतु जयलाभयशक्काम धातुर्दत्तस्य यस्तवम् भोगमोक्षप्रदस्येमं प्रपठेत् सकृती भवेत् श्रीगणेशाय नमः श्रीसरस्वत्यै नमः श्रीपादवल्लभ नरसिंह सरस्वती श्रीगुरुदत्तात्रेयाय नमः.
And now, let us join together once again. This time, please join in worshipping that light of our lives, and as today's story shows, the light of our afterlives as well. Sadgurudeva Datta Prabhu Parama Puja Sri Swamiji.
His light is always shining, but may He remove the film of our eyes, minds and hearts, so that that light will always be visible to us.
Please everyone, open the Bhajanmala app or website to Bhajan ID number 277 and join Puja Appaji, the light himself, in singing the Pallavi and final Charanam of this English composition of his.
Oh my Guru infinite, the top I pray show me light. Oh my Guru infinite, the top I pray show me light.
Oh my Guru infinite, Datta I pray show me light. Oh my Guru infinite, Datta I pray show me light. Oh my Guru infinite, Datta I pray show me light. Oh my Guru infinite, Datta I pray show me light. Keep my mind always right, give me might, help me fight. Keep my mind always right, give me might, help me fight. Oh my Guru infinite, Datta I pray show me light. Oh my Guru infinite, Datta I pray show me light. Pardon me, take me along, my journey is very long. Pardon me, take me along, my journey is very long. Make my tongue sing your song, Sachidananda, make me strong. Make my tongue sing your song, Sachidananda, make me strong. Fill my heart with morality. Help me serve humanity. Bless me always, O Trinity. Bless me always, O Trinity. Lead me to eternity. Lead me to eternity. Kill my ego, open my eyes. Kill my ego, open my eyes. Show your form, give me peace. Clean my mind, make me wise. Your grace is the greatest prize. Your grace is the greatest prize. Bless me always, O Trinity. Oh my Guru infinite, Datta I pray show me light. Oh my Guru infinite, Datta I pray show me light. Keep my mind always right, give me might, help me fight. Keep my mind always right, give me might, help me fight. Oh my Guru infinite, Datta I pray show me light. Oh my Guru infinite, Datta I pray show me light.
May Datta Prabhu Sri Ganapati Satchidananda Swamiji bless all of creation to not only see His light, but follow His light always, as He, with love and compassion, leads us on the path towards moksha or liberation.
You were just listening to Puja Sri Swamiji here on Datta Arpanam. Thank you for tuning in to today's offering, which is coming to you on 103.1 FM through the grace of Puja Sri Swamiji and thanks to the sponsorship by Ramlal Educational Institute, Debe Supermart Limited, Valini's Drug Mart Limited, and Koke Supermart Limited.
A little while ago, you heard that when frightening beings were trying to take the soul of devotee Shankaram's wife, that soul called out to Sri Swamiji, who then appeared in the form of a magnificent bright light. Some coded conversation involving many gestures started taking place between Sri Swamiji and the frightening beings. Shankaram's wife's soul did not know whether it was that they were not actually speaking or if it was that she simply could not hear. But whatever was going on, she could make out that the hideous forms were making gestures of disapproval and rejection.
After some time, words were finally heard. "This living being is mine. You need not take it away."
These words had come from Sri Swamiji.
The hideous forms, while not openly disregarding Sri Swamiji, were talking without any sudden moves to let go of the soul.
After some time, Sri Swamiji's form became ferocious. Reddening his eyes and looking at them fiercely, Sri Swamiji waved his hands. Shankaram's wife's soul did not know what happened, but the hideous forms suddenly ran away. That was all she knew. She did not know what happened afterwards.
By now, in the outside world, it was around sunset. The little finger of Shankaram's wife's dead body moved. Then, slowly, the eyelids moved. After that, it seemed like she was breathing.
Everyone who was sobbing with sorrow stared, looking on with fear. Slowly, the lips of Shankaram's wife started moving, and the faint sound of the word Swamiji was uttered. 30 minutes later, Shankaram's wife's soul said, "I will take leave of you, Swamiji," and with that, she got up. The house was blissful again.
Jai Appaji. Listeners, very often we worry about what our loved ones who have passed on might be experiencing, or we ourselves are afraid of death. But today's story shows us that if we have love, devotion, and faith in our hearts, we have nothing to fear. Perhaps that is why when Puja Appaji said he is coming into the darkness and bringing his light, he also said, "Do not worry." But he also said, you must develop love and affection.
In his book, Script for Success, Puja Appaji reassures us by saying that Lord Datta ensures that a devoted, resolved, truly determined devotee receives help when necessary. He follows the devotee like a shadow and protects him from evil and untruth. And who is Puja Appaji? He is none other than Lord Datta. Puja Appaji himself is telling us here that he will always be there for us. He follows us like a shadow and protects us from evil and untruth. When we get in the habit of communicating heart to heart with Puja Appaji in this lifetime itself, there is no reason to believe that when life is no more, we will have nowhere to turn or no one to turn to. As Sri Krishna taught Arjuna in chapter 6 of Bhagavad Gita, our efforts in this life do not end when this life ends. We pick up from where we left off. We saw today how, when frightened and tormented in the afterlife, Shankaram's wife called out to Appaji. This could only happen because she carried Appaji in her heart when alive, and he stayed with her when she had cast off the human body. Let us learn from her and make the absolute best of this life.
And we should not feel that Appaji brought that lady back to life, so if we call out to him in the afterlife, the same will happen to us. Each person's fate or destiny is determined by their past karmas.
None of us knows in what form departed loved ones may come back on this earth.
When you feed a bird, for example, who is to say that you are not feeding the mouth of a body occupied by someone who once fed you?
And who knows the state of those souls who have not assumed another form? So always pray for them, if for no other reason, as a mark of gratitude for the impact they have had upon our lives.
Yes, Pitra Paksha is a time associated with praying for the souls of those who have graduated from their previous physical existence. But every day we should offer worship for the mains, for the departed. It is one of the 5 yajnas we must do, Pitra Yajna.
And one of the things which Puja Appaji has taught in relation to the Pitras is that they are particularly pleased with the chanting of chapter 3 of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Unfortunately, time may not permit us to chant or play the entire chapter today, so instead we have a treat in store for you. Today, excerpts from chapter 3 of Bhagavad Gita will be chanted by Puja Appaji, and you will hear commentaries on those shlokas chanted. Those commentaries were done by none other than Swami Manasa Datta while he was still in the mortal coil.
अथ तृतीयोऽध्यायः कर्मयोगः अर्जुन उवाच ध्यायसि चेत् कर्मणस्ते मता बुद्धिर्जनार्दन तत्किं कर्मणि घोरे मां नियोजयसि केशव.
Arjuna said, O Janardana, if you say the intellect lit up with the light of wisdom is superior to the path of selfless action, then why do you lead me, O Keshava, to the performance of terrible karmas?
Sri Bhagavanuvāca Yajñārthāt karmanonyatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha tadartham karma kaunteya mukta sangas samachara.
Lord Krishna said, only those actions bind a person which are not performed for the sake of sacrifice. Therefore, O son of Kunti, perform karmas without attachment and with dexterity for the sake of divine self.
Devan bhavayatanena te deva bhavayantu vaha parasparam bhavayantaha sreya paramavapsyatha.
May you satisfy the gods by the performance of sacrifice. In turn, may the gods, thus satisfied, enhance your fulfillment. Thus assisting each other, may you attain highest good in the form of self-realization.
Annāt bhavanti bhūtāni parjanyadanna sambhavaha yajñāt bhavati parjanyo yajñah karma samudbhavaha.
From food there arise the bodies of beings, and from rain comes food. It is yajna that gives rise to rain, while yajna is born of action.
Karma brahmodbhavam vidhi brahmakshara samudbhavam tasmat sarvagatam brahma nityam yajñe pratishthitam.
Know that karma proceeds from the Brahman of the Vedas, and the Vedas emanate from the divine self. Therefore, the all-pervading eternal Brahman is seated in yajna.
Karmanaiva hi samsiddhim astita janakadayaha lokasangrahamevapi sampasyan kartumarhasi.
Famous Janaka and others attained salvation, performing their duties to perfection. Even from the point of view of welfare and maintenance, you must perform actions.
यद्यदाचरति श्रेष्ठः तत्तदेवेतरो जनः स यत्प्रमाणं कुरुते लोकस्तदनुवर्तते.
Whatever a man of perfection does, the same is followed by others. Whatever he sets as example, the same the world emulates.
श्रेयान् स्वधर्मो विगुणः परधर्मात् स्वनुष्ठितात् स्वधर्मे निधनं श्रेयः परधर्मो भयावहः.
Better to perform one's own duty, even though imperfectly, than to perform the duties of others in a perfect manner. It is better to give up one's life while performing one's own duty rather than to perform the duty of others, which leads to fearful consequences.
काम एष क्रोध एष रजोगुणसमुद्भवः महाशनो महापाप्मा विद्येनमिह वैरिणम्.
It is kama, desire, as well as krodha, anger, arising out of rajas, passion and externalization. This kama is a great consumer and a great sinner. Know this to be your enemy in this world.
इन्द्रियाणि पराण्याहुः इन्द्रियेभ्यः परं मनः मनसस्तु परा बुद्धिः यो बुद्धेः परतस्तु सः.
The sages say that the senses are higher than the objects, while higher still than the senses is the mind. The intellect is higher than the mind, and even higher than the intellect is the Supreme Self.
इति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासूपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुनसंवादे कर्मयोगो नाम तृतीयोऽध्यायः.
Whether you start a minute, an hour, a day, or a week with Bhagavad Gita, you know you are delving into a period of bliss. What a wonderful and enlightening way to begin to bring today's episode of Datta Arpanam to an end.
Pranams and gratitude are offered at the divine feet of beloved Sadgurudeva, Paramapujya Sri Ganapati Satchidananda Swamiji and Sri Datta Vijayananda Tirtha Swamiji, without whose teachings, compassion, love, guidance and music, this program would not exist.
Pranams to you, Puja Appaji and Sri Swamiji. Kindly forgive any errors which may have been committed in preparing or in sharing today's episode of Datta Arpanam, and please guide us to avoid such errors in the future.
Special thanks are extended to the staff at 103.1 FM and to the sponsors of Datta Arpanam, Valini's Drug Mart Limited, Ramlal Educational Institute, Debe Supermart Limited and Kokie Supermart Limited. And of course, dear listener, an extra special thank you is extended to you for sharing this devotional hour with us.
If you would like to listen to today's program again, check out the Datta Arpanam Facebook page where by tomorrow night the YouTube link for today's episode will be shared.
And once again everyone, thank you for tuning in today. You are invited to please tune in to 103.1 FM again next Sunday at 6 a.m. Atlantic Standard Time for another episode of Datta Arpanam, a showcase of the life, music and teachings of His Holiness Paramapujya Sri Ganapati Satchidananda Swamiji.
Jai Guru Datta.
Shri Guru Datta. Harihi Om Tat Sat.
मन्त्रम् नित्यतत्त्वाख्यमन्त्रम् निखिलनिलयमन्त्रम् नित्यतत्त्वाख्यमन्त्रम् भवकुलहरमन्त्रम् भूमिजाप्राणमन्त्रम् भवकुलहरमन्त्रम् भूमिजाप्राणमन्त्रम् पवनजनुतमन्त्रम् पार्वतीमोक्षमन्त्रम् पवनजनुतमन्त्रम् पार्वतीमोक्षमन्त्रम् पशुपतिनिजमन्त्रम् पातु मां राममन्त्रम् पशुपतिनिजमन्त्रम् पातु मां राममन्त्रम् प्रणवनिलयमन्त्रम् प्राणनिर्वाणमन्त्रम् प्रणवनिलयमन्त्रम् प्राणनिर्वाणमन्त्रम् प्रकृतिपुरुषमन्त्रम् ब्रह्मरुद्रेन्द्रमन्त्रम् प्रकृतिपुरुषमन्त्रम् ब्रह्मरुद्रेन्द्रमन्त्रम् प्रकटदुरितराग द्वेषनिर्नाशमन्त्रम् प्रकटदुरितराग द्वेषनिर्नाशमन्त्रम् रघुपतिनिजमन्त्रम् राम रामेति मन्त्रम् रघुपतिनिजमन्त्रम् राम रामेति मन्त्रम् जयतु जयतु मन्त्रम् जन्मसाफल्यमन्त्रम् जयतु जयतु मन्त्रम् जन्मसाफल्यमन्त्रम् जननमरणखेद क्लेशविच्छेदमन्त्रम् जननमरणखेद क्लेशविच्छेदमन्त्रम् सकलनिगममन्त्रम् सर्वशास्त्रैकमन्त्रम् सकलनिगममन्त्रम् सर्वशास्त्रैकमन्त्रम् रघुपतिनिजमन्त्रम् राम रामेति मन्त्रम् रघुपतिनिजमन्त्रम् राम रामेति मन्त्रम् 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 राम रामेति मन्त्रम्
ఓం శాంతి శాంతి శాంతి. హరి ఓం తత్సత్.